Both candidates hitting the pavement in the battleground states as polls show a very tight race now that we're in this final stretch.
And with just 2 weeks until Election Day, early voting trends are surprising some political experts. CBS 17's Dina Harley spent the morning going over these numbers. So, Dina, what are you seeing so far?
Yeah, I heard from political experts earlier today. Typically, early voting is dominated by Democrats. And this year, they are certainly coming out in big numbers, but we're also seeing more and more Republicans coming out. I talked with that political expert about why exactly that could be.
It's just showing more general enthusiasm.
Over 1.2 million votes cast in North Carolina less than 1 week after early voting in the state opened. Wake County is leading the state with over 127,000 early votes.
There are people standing in lines for hours to vote early. And, 8 years ago, we didn't see that. Now we're seeing it.
Numbers are showing some interesting trends. As of Tuesday morning, over 483,000 Democrats have taken advantage of early voting. Republicans are not far behind, though, with over 463,000 casting their ballots. More women are voting early, with over 715,000 taking to the polls. For men, that number is sitting at over 588,000. Political experts say the numbers are telling.
We'll see really high turnout for North Carolina in 2024. Whether it'll break the 75% record that we set in 2020, I'm not sure. But at least initially, it looks like there's a lot of enthusiasm among all groups of voters.
With 2 weeks to go, both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have not given up on undecided voters.
I think we'll see continued visits in the state by the candidates and their surrogates. President Trump is going to be speaking in Greensboro. I think we'll see the Harris campaign come back to North Carolina several times.
And that political expert told me we will see more and more phone calls, text messages, even door knocking from the campaigns as they try to win over voters who have yet to cast their ballots. Some really interesting numbers coming out of that.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to not only talk about, the numbers that we have here in North Carolina, but I know you looked at some other swing states. First up, Wisconsin. What are their numbers looking like?
Yeah, so I talked to that political expert about that earlier today as well, and he said that, of course, is a state that a lot of the campaigns are also focusing on. So I think right this morning, they were over 323,000 votes. We skipped ahead to Georgia there, but Wisconsin, keep in mind, they just started early voting this morning. So things are moving fast there, and again, it's a state that the campaigns are really looking at.
Yeah, and let's go back to Georgia real quick, because we know that is state, last time around, such a slim margin of victory for President Biden. What are the early numbers looking like there?
Yeah, you can see it right there. 1.3 million votes in that state so far. Last election season, last presidential election, I should say, tons of eyes on Georgia, both during the election, after the election. We all remember it. That political expert said it will likely be the same exact situation this year. And again, with over 1.3 million votes already in, it's not surprising.
All right, Dina, we appreciate you doing all this research. Very interesting.